Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am live. It's 5:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am the Crypto Crow. We finally got the new Crow node up. For those of you guys that are wanting to delegate your Cardano, your big flashy ADA bags, and delegate those to a staking pool of mine, the Crow 2, Cardano Stake Pool 2 is now up. And for everybody that's gonna start complaining, all the other node operators telling me my pledge is low and blah 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 blah. I know, we're just talking about it. We just got this thing up, so we haven't increased the pledge yet, but I wanted to let everybody know that the new staking node is up, because we were at like 97% saturation on the old node or the first node, which is still up and active and everything's good. But I didn't want to announce it until this propagated to the dataless wallet. So now it is, yay! So if you're wanting to delegate to one of my nodes, now I have two. And if for whatever reason in the future, you know what? I'm even going to hit the share promote button. Share promote. Get free promo now. Absolutely. So anyway, so I see chat starting to pop up and fill up. It takes a while for everybody to get notifications, I've noticed. And hello from the Netherlands. I hear clickety clack. Yeah, I was typing up a response to my developer about the Crow Node 2. Great call on Grow. Yeah, I'm still trying to finalize something with them, but yeah, there are just some things that I'm like working on. It's not even really a money thing so much at this point, just a couple other things that I need to feel safe and secure about really making Growth DeFi a part of my regular promotional efforts, I guess you could say. And so we're supposed to have a call today, but he hasn't even been online that I've seen. So, but yeah, Grow has been doing very well. Bitcoin dominance obviously got a really low. I mean, it was down to 62.4 and rose up to 64.3, and then it's starting to peter back down as the altcoin market continues to go up. Now, I get a lot of questions asking me, things like, "Hey, Crow, when do you see the peak of the market? When do you know when to exit, if you exit, and all that?" And I found something interesting. I've seen this site before, but I didn't really understand a lot of what was on it. But there's this website here, lookintobitcoin.com, and what you're going to see below is an indicator. It's actually it's a couple of indicators all wrapped up into one. And what you're seeing here is a 111 daily moving average against a 350 daily moving average times 2. This has been insanely accurate. So for those of you guys that have watched me for a long time, you guys know that I like using like the 13/34 exponential moving averages to kind of dictate, when's a good time to buy or sell things and such. And there's so many other indicators out there to kind of dictate stuff. And that's more like short term, 4 hour, 1 hour, that kind of thing, when you're trying to scalp trades. But this is more long term. And this is more of an indicator. This is called the Pi Cycle Top Indicator, and it has accurately called the peak of every Bitcoin bull market to date. And what I did was I took this, I zoomed in on this, and I drew a little box here. I was literally just messing around. Okay, we still obviously have quite a ways to go in terms of when the yellow crosses below the orange, or I should say the orange, the 111 DMA moves up and crosses over the 350. Now, when that happens, typically that's saying that is the peak of that particular bull cycle, whatever it is, whether it's a long-term trend or short-term. But it is called the peaks of all of these peaks pretty accurately, basically to within 3 days. So I'm definitely going to make this a regular part of my reference as we move forward into the bull market, because it has been very accurate. Now, what I did though is I took the space in between here, and I basically screenshotted this. I threw it into Photoshop, and I drew a little box here, and then I brought this down to this market. Or was it this here? I think it was somewhere around here, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, it was right here. So I basically compared the two. I'm going to show you guys. So I compared the two. I drew a little box here, and I brought it all the way down, and it fit nice and snug and perfect right here in this dip. And then I basically said, okay, so on July 17th, how much did the price rise from this point? Okay, from this point here, Bitcoin's price continued to rise up another 735%, or 739% rather. And I'm not saying that that's exactly what's going to happen here, but it goes to show that we have quite a bit of room. Now, for those of you guys that have been watching me for a long time, you'll know I've done several different Bitcoin price predictions, all of which end up somewhere around the $250,000, $280,000 mark. Well, I literally was playing with this. I hate saying that word literally. I really do, because I use it too much, and my wife uses it constantly. Everybody we know says it now. But anyway, I priced this stuff out. I was just playing around last night, and sure enough, if I take where we're at now against where we were then and add 735%, sure enough, the price ended up at about $280,000 Bitcoin. And I was kind of shocked by that. Now, where did I put it? Yeah. So this is basically where I drew it all out. So I found the date, 732% increase from that point, which was the July 15th, 17th. And we did all that, and now we're here. So if we're at the same point here and we continue to rise up, that's 735% or 39%. So I put it at 731, brings us to about $280,000 Bitcoin. Mind blown yet again. It seems like no matter what I do, when I'm playing around trying to predict Bitcoin's potential peak price, it somehow always finds a way to end up around 280 grand. So we'll see, but it's looking pretty interesting. It's looking interesting for sure. New crypto guidance for U.S. banks is watershed moment for the industry, says Circle CEO Jeremy Allaire. Circle CEO Jeremy Allaire says that the crypto industry just witnessed a historic milestone as regulators issue new crypto guidance for U.S. banks. In a Real Vision installment, the internet entrepreneur touches upon a number of novel recommendations handed down by U.S. regulatory bodies. Allaire highlights the Office of the Comptroller's recent instruction regarding banks' rights to utilize stablecoins, in addition to the explicit guidance published by the President's Working Group on Financial Markets on digital payments and stablecoins. The OCC guidance is getting very specific. It's saying, okay, if you are a bank in the United States financial system, you can utilize stablecoins as a payment infrastructure. You can issue them yourself as well. So you can participate in issuance, but you can utilize it as a payment infrastructure on par with ACH, on par with SWIFT, on par with debit network rails. And it defines how to classify and think about it as an electric stored value medium. All this stuff is actually very, very interesting, but it's also something that I said was coming. I mean, how long has it been since I said this was going to happen? I mean, it's probably been at least a year and a half, 2 years. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out where the future's going as it relates to blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and stable coins. we're moving to a completely and utterly cashless society, folks, and the banks are going to have to start issuing their own stable coins and utilizing them if the overall plan for all of this is going to come together. It's just the nature of things. So I just thought that was interesting. But yeah, I mean, the banks can do it, and they're probably going to start doing it. And I anticipate seeing some very interesting news from various blockchain-based projects as it relates to potential partnerships with major banks. And when we start seeing that, we're going to know where a lot of the market is heading. So we'll just have to wait and see. Bitcoin is braced for a huge $4 billion price earthquake this week. This is going to be interesting. Bitcoin has struggled to maintain its momentum in the second half of January after its huge start of the year. The Bitcoin price is flatlined, even as other smaller cryptocurrencies continue to soar. I mean, a lot of it's just DeFi stuff, as fears mount about a swelling Bitcoin bubble. Now, with excitement building ahead of a hotly anticipated virtual Bitcoin Corporate Strategy Summit in the first week of February, a record near $4 billion worth of Bitcoin options are set to expire this Friday, January 29th. Bitcoin options contracts which allow investors to buy or sell the cryptocurrency at a specified price within a set time period worth around 107,000 Bitcoin or $3.5 billion at today's prices will expire on Friday, according to data from cryptocurrency analytics provider Bybit. This not the same Bybit you're thinking. This coming options expiry, maybe it is. All right. So this coming options expiry is significantly more than previous $2.4 billion record set in late December. Trading data shows that speculators are feeling upbeat about Bitcoin, despite recent surveys that have suggested Wall Street investors think Bitcoin looks like a bubble. Well, haven't they been saying that from the beginning? This is nothing new. But the only difference now is that they're all buying into it en masse. So whether they think it's a bubble or not, I mean, what isn't a bubble? Isn't the traditional stock market also a bubble with ebbs and flows and market cycles like everything else? I mean, it's just kind of the nature of a lot of it. I think it's just a matter of what mouth is it coming from and what's their overall agenda? Who are they playing ball with and how are they trying to control us as it relates to our interest in crypto? And while I think some of the, honestly, it's really difficult, I think, for a lot of these big whales and institutions to sit there and say, Bitcoin's a bubble and Bitcoin's this and that. Sure, it's a bubble. It's a market cycle, but it's still in its infancy. And while it's still in its infancy and mass adoption has not yet occurred, that bubble rises and falls more drastically than it will in the future. You know, guys like Benjamin Cohen, who are constantly charting out the logarithmic scale and showing, you know, how the markets are kind of lengthening and what the overall logarithmic curve is. I mean, as we continue to pick up new adopters, this stuff is going to mean less and less and less. But we're still in crypto infancy, guys. I mean, we are. Bitcoin's looming record options expiry could spark a bout of price volatility as previous large expiries have caught investor attention. The size of the Bitcoin open interest market has also soared recently, more than doubling since the summer. Bitcoin's surge over the last few months, climbing almost 250% since October, has failed to dampen its extreme volatility, with its price regularly swinging more than 10% over a 24-hour trading period. Currently, the Bitcoin price is more than 20% off its early January all-time high of just over $40,000. There's so much going on, and I'm like, listen, we all know what's coming. I mean, the big whale investors are accumulating. The institutions are accumulating. They're not really trading it. They're holding it. They're shorting the supply available to the rest of the retail market. And as the retail market starts really getting interested, we're going to see crazy new all-time highs. It's just how it's going to be. And then once the whales, and they're sitting around and all their analysts are looking at all of the indicators, they're going to say, hey, okay, now I think the top is in. We might as well start dumping. Now you have that pie indicator to get an idea as to what they're thinking. Cardano, Qtum, and Ontology price analysis, January 24th. I haven't even looked at this yet, but I thought I would take a look. The above chart of Cardano showed that the price was consolidating between the support and resistance of 33 cents and 35 cents. At the time of writing, ADA was trading at 35 cents while embarking on a bullish journey. The relative strength index value was at 65, which is an indication that the digital asset was close to being overbought. This meant that the buying of Cardano was high and the digital asset was close to being overbought. However, it did not have the momentum to keep up with the current trend. No, I think a lot of this has to do with Ethereum pumping first, period. This is part of why I don't take a lot of technical analysis into account for anything other than Bitcoin. And even with Bitcoin, I feel it's shaky. When it comes to these altcoins, listen, it's the way the market works. Bitcoin and Ethereum typically pump first, then everything else. Because what happens? People buy Ethereum or Bitcoin to make purchases of other altcoins. I just explained this recently. I've explained it multiple times. People go into Bitcoin or Ethereum because they're buying those through their fiat on ramps like Coinbase and whatever others that are out there. And then once their funds clear, they use that money to go out and buy altcoins. And so, it used to be just Bitcoin. Now it seems to be more Ethereum as well, because a lot of these investors are seeing that, the big institutions are also going into Ethereum, even though technically it's just not technically very sound. The fees are outrageous, and it's only going to continue getting worse and worse. It's what people are being told is going to be the biggest thing. I see other YouTubers talking about $100,000 Ethereum. I'm like, are you crazy? Like, cool, but I don't see that happening. And I see a lot of this stuff is just like kind of silly clickbait, like look at me type stuff. But the reality is, in my opinion, when Cardano launches Goguen, I'm telling you, we're going to see some insane migration over to the Cardano blockchain, and Ethereum is not going to be the pretty princess it currently is today. We'll see how Cardano's rise plays a role in Ethereum's overall value and dominance in terms of like smart contract based infrastructure blockchains. But I don't see Ethereum doing quite what everybody thinks it's going to. I think and if it does, it's going to deserve it, because there are going to be many bumps in the road along the way as competitors with much better technology start proving themselves. And I do believe Cardano to be one of the primaries, and Polkadot for that matter might make a stab at it as well, but we'll have to wait and see on that. The value of Qtum has witnessed a sudden surge as the price was supported by the 50 moving average. The trend in the market changed to a bullish one as it hit the resistance at $4.02. The price dropped. At the time of writing, Qtum was trading at $3.87, and the drop pushed it from the overbought zone. And then Ontology. I mean, here's the thing. I believe that honestly, all three of these, obviously, Qtum, Ontology, Cardano, I think they're all going to rise up. But I do believe that once Goguen launches, Cardano is going to take the cake. And that's all I really have to say about that. What will Ergo bring to Cardano? Now, I'm not going to dive too deep into this. I just wanted to show some of you guys that are interested that this is here. Why will Ergo be vital for Cardano's success? Ergo will bring all the advantages of proof of work to users of the Cardano ecosystem. Let's look at the advantages that a proof of work blockchain fully compatible with Cardano can bring to all developers in the Cardano ecosystem. Non-interactive proofs of proof of work, which, although not largely used today, provide several unique cryptographic features, which will be discussed later. Not really, because I'm not going through this whole giant thing. I mean, this is long. This is long. If you're interested, you can look this up. I'm just showing you that it's here for those of you that have a genuine interest in kind of going further. I'm learning that, in my, I like to try and keep these lives under 30 minutes unless it's like a weekend or something, and we all have plenty of time to just kind of sit around, drink, and chill. Ease of bootstrapping, aggregation of computation capabilities, a different security approach. This enables efficiency, scalability, interoperability, offline transaction storage. I don't understand why somebody's trying to push proof of work onto the Cardano blockchain. I don't really think that's what's I don't really think that's all that important personally, but maybe that's just me. Ergo is the first blockchain to adopt smart contract language on the same UTXO model as Cardano, bringing compatibility with proof of work to a whole new level. See, to me, I feel like proof of work is like so yesterday. I mean, am I crazy? I feel like proof of stake is much cleaner. I think it's more sought after by holders and investors for obvious reasons. And I'm just not all that super into it. But and then here's another article, how to get started with metadata on Cardano. I've talked about this already several times in the past, but people are really starting to figure out new and interesting ways to utilize the metadata functionality of Cardano, which I think is going to be a big boon. Think of metadata like for all you guys that are out there, you're like SEO guys or whatever. Metadata is like, let's say I post a picture on a website. Metadata is like if I'm describing that picture to a Google spider, I'm basically saying this is what this is all about. While the spider might not be able to read the photo itself and say, hey, this is a person holding a Bud Light, you can describe that photograph, male figure, brown hair, holding a beer can, stuff like that. But when it comes to financial use cases, I think metadata is going to be a big part of what separates Cardano from the majority of what's out there on the market. Because I think that metadata is going to be extremely useful when you're talking about financial transactions moving forward, because you're going to be able to tag these transactions with metadata such as, KYC, AML, for that matter. This transaction's coming from this person to this person, and it's all going to be on the blockchain, so you're not going to be able to change it or anything. So I'm really excited when I see information associated with some of the smaller, functionalities and features of Cardano. I do really get excited. Now, I've got a paid thing that I'm going to try and get through. This is actually fairly interesting, and I'm basically, it's just a quick promo. It's nothing huge. It's not a deep dive or anything. But they paid. Let me see real quick. I think you might actually like this, folks, so don't just click off. But I got to get the details. It'll be in the description once I've edited it. It looks like they paid 0.13 Bitcoin for the promo, and so we'll see. This might be something that I cover in the future as well, but this is called Parsiq. It's parsiq.net. And I'm going to read through some stuff, then I'm going to go through basically notes they sent me and then an article. But pay attention, because I think this is interesting stuff. And I've actually been getting a lot of new and interesting projects recently, and I've actually been kind of enjoying it. Whether it's some of the newer, like the more interesting DeFi applications, or just new projects with use cases that I find interesting. I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, it almost seems like some of the projects that I find the most interesting have the smaller budgets. I don't understand why, but that's what I'm seeing. But anyway, turn blockchain data into actions. And I will say right off the bat that this almost strikes me as kind of an if this then that type thing, but on the blockchain. And so I'm interested. Oh, really? Bums and Blitz. I really like Parsiq. Been in since 7 cents. Yeah, that's the thing. Where is my... Here it is. Yeah, it's currently at $1.28. And, I mean, it started much lower. So it was at 5 cents. So we got a really early adopter. But it's been doing pretty well. Even trade volume is at 3 million. It's up 22%. And yeah, market cap's down 2.5%. But a lot of that stuff this is what happens across the board when you're talking about cryptocurrencies and altcoins, because every time Ethereum pumps, everything else has to catch up and then beats it. And it's like a back and forth. It's almost like what's the game where you're hopping over each other like frogs. So anyway, it's currently trading at $1.28, and it looks pretty cool. So scalable, and you can try it for free. Request a demo, easy setup, no coding required, and there's a free plan. Works with millions of transactions across different blockchains without worrying about load or throughput. Easy to use. integrations between blockchains, data providers, apps, and web services to remove the complexity from blockchain-specific workflows. Flexible, define how you want the data from blockchains to be aggregated and transformed, where and when you want to receive it. Instant notifications through various triggers. You can set it up on a Telegram bot, which I like. Add risk score, send via Slack. It takes just a few clicks. What do you want to monitor? Do this. This is cool, man. And I've never heard of this before. I've legitimately never heard of this before. I love if this and that. And I love it because if you guys have noticed, when I do a video, it automatically pops up on my Facebook, on my Twitter, all over the place, and it's all done automatically because I have it set up that way. And this is something that's actually pretty slick. A solution that grows with you. For small businesses and personal users, Parsiq keeps smart triggers organized and accessible. Large enterprises are provided with a dedicated infrastructure and have the ability to fully customize their monitoring applications. Stay informed. Zapier integration, that's huge. Webhooks, I mean, this is cool stuff, man. That's cool. So I'm actually going to share the notes that they gave me. They're right here. So the website's parsiq.net. There's a deck, video, documentation, 40,000 current registered users, 150,000 plus smart triggers deployed so far, with $10 billion worth of transactions processed. PRQ token price went from 0.005 cents in August to its original all-time high of $1.81 in January. That's actually pretty good. Wow. I wish I would have heard of this because this would have been something I would have been into back when this thing launched. No major exchange listings just yet. Soon to come. No VC backing, which is actually a big deal. A lot of people, they say, oh, I like to go into cryptocurrencies if they were venture funded because it shows that they, these rich people, these guys are doing their due diligence and all that. Honestly, I disagree because those venture capitalists are funding something that they can pump and dump on the heads of everybody at profit. So I am not, I'm not super keen on projects that are venture funded. At one point, I thought it might have been a good idea, but I really don't think that's necessarily the case. What is Parsiq? Parsiq is a working platform that makes blockchain events consumable and blockchain data actionable. It allows users, individuals, companies, and enterprises to monitor any events across different blockchains in real time and at scale and connect those events to any off-chain apps or devices to automate different workflows. I just think this could be really cool stuff. I wonder how this kind of thing could be. Something else that I thought that if you guys, how many of you guys, let me know in chat, how many of you guys in chat have heard of the DPT-3 artificial intelligence deployment? I guess it was a couple months ago. It's basically another one of Elon Musk's brainchildren with somebody else. This thing, basically, you can type in, I want to create this and that, and it will basically code for you. It will write poems for you. It will translate anything it'll take a legalese contract and convert it into something a second grader can understand with analogies and things. It's insane. And it's this crazy new artificial intelligence system that apparently it's an open source platform, but I guess it hasn't been released to the public yet. I thought about doing a video about it, but it's not really crypto related. But I even sent it over to Charles Hoskinson, and I'm like, hey, check this out. I'm sure he didn't even respond, but I'm like, hey, I wonder what kind of role something like this could play in developing. And you can look it up. It's DP. I'll do a video on it. I'll cover it in a segment in the future. But I see stuff like this and I'm like, man, this is cool. Notable partnerships: Chainlink, Binance, Algorand, CeeLo, Dash, Aave, Ocean Protocol. Articles below. Plenty of articles about this platform. But yeah, watch the price. I'm curious to see, like, you know, once more people find out about this, how many people take interest, because with $3 million a day in trading volume, up 22%, people are honestly trading it. But yeah, this is 7 hours ago. The ability to consume different data sources is critical for blockchain adoption. According to Resin, each blockchain has its own set of rules to communicate that prevents different blockchain solutions from communicating and exchanging information and data. He added, I would say that now we see a lot of different blockchains on the rise, like in the internet era. And now we see the same thing with blockchains, this blockchain, that blockchain, and we need solid protocols, how to work them together. Resin also pointed out that although many blockchain projects such as Cosmos, Hyperledger, and Polkadot are trying to build the architecture to connect different blockchains, still they are only trying to do it on a network level. Nobody is trying to do it at a user level. According to Resin, that's what distinguishes Parsiq from others. Parsiq, according to Resin, is a working platform that makes blockchain events consumable and blockchain data actionable. It allows users, individuals, companies. So we've read all that. Another interesting fact that he mentioned was that the name Parsiq and the legal entity behind Parsiq, that is called syntactic, are both words from the compiler theory of creating your own languages. I thought Parsiq was, that's Parsec. I'm thinking of Star Wars. Resin used JavaScript for the web as an example to compare with smart contracts used on blockchains. He said the web was only static. Logic was locked on servers and nothing happened on clients. Nothing happens on browsers. Users see static pages, and only when they press buttons, something on a server starts to move, and then static results are delivered. That is exactly what is happening now with smart contracts, according to Resin. Overall, man, I don't know. This just looks like a fun, cool thing, and it works. I mean, it exists. It's there now. You can test it. You can try it. You can use it. Try it for free. I might play with this. Latest from integrations, Ocean Protocol, Binance Chain. No, I mean, this legitimately looks like a fun application that I kind of want to see. I might go back, reach out to them and be like, hey, what all sorts of things could somebody like me utilize this thing for? Think with drag and drop. Visual Editor will help you structure your business logic, add and replace conditions, easily rearrange and deploy smart triggers to get the job done. This is cool. I'm gonna bookmark this and save it. And if I create anything cool with it, I'll let you guys know. I'll update you. But yeah, that's Parsiq. Parsiq.net. That was paid. It was 1.13 Bitcoin that they paid me to cover it on the channel and go over it a bit. Nothing crazy. But yeah, it looks pretty slick, and I might dive into this and see if there's anything that I can use it for, because why not? I'm always looking for cool tools. I just love cool tools. What can I tell you, folks? I love cool tools. Hey, Crow, greetings from Australia. What's up, mate? Good day, mate. My wife always makes fun of me and all my my accents and so forth. Yes, I heard about that, but months ago. Wow, for real. What up, Carlos? Cheers. There's a chip shortage. Team holding tokens for years. What is the name? PRQ. For the win. So yeah, zombie hit on it. I'm not sure what's. I guess I need to scroll up. Crow, where does the interest Cardano from staking come from? From the staking pools. Transaction fees ultimately is where it's going to continue growing from. Crow, you are as transparent as they get. Keep it up, buddy. Well, thank you, Brett Thomas. I appreciate that. I definitely make sure that I like to say I try to be, but I just am. I try to keep everything very transparent. But I also tell people, just because somebody's paying me to talk about their project doesn't mean that it's something that's crappy. There are some projects that I just genuinely enjoy. I think they're cool, and I especially love new tools. I love things that empower me as an end user. I get into that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see what sort of dApps start launching on Cardano post Gogan. I mean, I'm telling you, I can't wait for the day where I'm just focused on Cardano and, maybe like my top 5 blockchains, my top 5 infrastructure platforms, whatever I'm into. And I'm just focusing on the dApps and applications associated with them, because that's honestly where I want to put my time. Leapfrog, there you go. That's what I was looking for. A little late, better late than never. They even helped KuCoin retrieve data after their hack. Wow. Parsiq, solid it's also nice to talk about a project and people in chat, because none of you guys knew that I was talking about this today. And it's not titled anywhere. So the fact that I have people in my live chat, they're like, hey, I've been in this for a while. This is cool. That's cool. It makes me feel good, because I'm like, yeah, I like to try. I definitely give priority to projects, paid or not. I give priority to projects that I like. I'm still talking about it. I typically, I give them a few minutes. I talk about it. I read from their website, and that's it. But this actually looks cool, so I want to make sure people are checking it out. And let me know what you think about it in the comments. What sort of interesting use cases can you think of, especially if you've used this? What kinds of things are you able to do with it? Fill me in, educate me, if you will. Let me know in the comments. What have you done? What have you accomplished with this? And what sorts of things might somebody like me find useful in utilizing the Parsiq application? And one last reminder for those of you that are late, the Crow 2 node is up. Don't complain about the pledge yet. I know there's no big pledge yet. We're going to beef that up as we move forward, and but the Crow 2 node is there, and start the delegation process, folks. It's there. So that's it. I'm going to go have some dinner, y'all. It is 5:49 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is Monday. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully you learned a little bit. Hopefully we had some fun, and I edumacated you. And one other thing real quick before you run off. I'm doing an experiment, and I'd really like your help. This is the community tab of my YouTube channel, okay? Go to it, post in the poll. I created a poll down here. Make sure because apparently there's something about the community tab and nobody uses it. But people that use the community tab and they load up with like keywords and key terms and things like that, it helps that channel show up, not just in crypto or whatever, but all over the place. And the more engagement they have in their comments and likes and like polls and things, the more it helps generate exposure for all of the videos on that channel. And I saw something. So this is an experiment. So if you like me, there's 484 of you on here. Click over to my community tab after I'm done rambling and maybe get involved. Throw down a couple likes, a couple comments. The more your comments have like search related, like searchable keyword related items, the more it helps the algorithm, tells the algorithm that this is something worth seeing. But not only did I load it with keywords, but I tried to actually write something helpful to newcomers. So hopefully this is helpful to people. But check it out if you don't mind. You got a couple minutes, you want to help, I'd appreciate it. And in the meantime, make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, and smash the likes. I definitely appreciate it. It's a new week. It's going to be an interesting week. Between now and Friday, a lot's going to happen in the crypto space. We'll have to see what comes of it. But until next time, guys, thank you for joining me. Crow your coins, and I will see you again very soon.